Hey guys, welcome back to another City Skylines video. For today, I want to get into the new City Skylines Plaza and Promenades DLC. I want to give you an honest review. Is this DLC worth buying? So the very first thing we need to get into is actually how much does the DLC cost? So you go into the City Skylines Steam Workshop, it costs $14.99. So the big question of the day of this whole video is the new City Skylines DLC worth $14.99 US dollars? Well, we're going to use this video to find out and give the reasons why I think this DLC might be worth money. Let's get started. So the main reason why people are buying the City Skylines Plaza and Promenades DLC is exactly what is in front of you right now. It is what's called pedestrian-only roads. So what these pedestrian-only roads can do is they act like normal roads. You can have commercial buildings on them, or commercial zoning, residential zoning, office zoning, industrial zoning. Every type of zoning can be used when using these pedestrian-only roads. The only difference is that there are no public cars or transportation. So this gives a giant thumbs up. I really do like the pedestrian roads. I think it was a fantastic idea and a really good add to the DLC. So that gives it a giant thumbs up. The next part you're gonna see are the start of some of the buildings. Now, these are what's called the wall-to-wall specialization buildings. You do have to create a district and use the wall-to-wall specialization. Overall, I really love these buildings. I think they are fantastic to a certain extent. Right now, this is my wall-to-wall zoning area or pedestrian path or pedestrian road area used for the new DLC. And overall, I think these buildings, they are wall to wall, so you should use them in a tighter manner. When they're by themselves, the buildings look fantastic, but I think they should be in a more confined space. So if you're building a downtown area, that's exactly what I think. So what do I think of this part of the new DLC? I really give them a 2 thumbs up. I think these buildings are amazing, and I think that a lot of people will enjoy using them. The colors and just the overall medium-sized build and distinction of these buildings, I think they're awesome. So overall, wall-to-wall specialization, I love it. So the third thing I really want to get into is the plazas themselves. City Skylines gave us a ton of different plazas that are very highly detailed plazas that look absolutely amazing. And like the one in front of you, you can see the sculpture and the trees, and the detailing themselves just look fantastic. I am a huge fan of these plazas that they created. So right now you just saw a couple of the smaller plazas. What you see in front of you are a couple of the large plazas. The large plazas, well, you can see that there is a large road in the middle, and the large plazas go on both sides of the road. So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see the ice cream stand on both sides of the road. And then later on, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So it's on both sides of the road. Now on the other side, or the next to it, is the food truck plazas. Again, it's a large plaza, so they're on both sides of the large road. I think overall these large plazas are very, very cool. And we're showing off an ice cream stand. We do have a bunch more plazas, but I think overall, very cool. Definitely the most popular plaza in this whole new DLC is this large a large glass roof plaza. And I think I've seen every City Skylines creator use this plaza as like a centerpiece. It is perfect. You get some water fountains, you get people walking underneath it, you get people with, well, you get the emergency vehicles going underneath it. Overall, it is a fantastic plaza. I really do love this addition to the new DLC. It's awesome. Like, I don't think anybody I know has ever complained about this plaza. Overall, very cool. Now, you saw some of the plazas that I just showed you. Well, what's really cool is that for this new DLC is you do have the options to use these as individual assets. So for all of you console players that are playing this Cities Skylines game, you can actually go in the pedestrian area plazas. You're going to see me scroll through a bunch of the plazas. Again, we didn't go through every single one, but you get to use these individual sculptures. So that sculpture plaza, guess what? Let's say you just want to use the water fountain. Like, you can use it. And what's amazing, you can actually use food trucks. So you're able to detail food trucks. So overall, I love the new plazas, and I love that you can use the individual assets when you're detailing, and especially for console players. Like, you guys need it the most, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Cities Skylines gets a massive 2 thumbs up for both of those. So now I want to get into my favorite part of the new Cities Skylines Plaza and, well, Parks and Plaza DLC. You're going to see on the screen high capacity services. And the very first one we're looking at is the high capacity elementary school. And what's really cool about these high capacity buildings are that they handle a much higher than normal amount of students. Now, obviously we're looking at education, so we are looking at students, and 800 students versus 300 students. So these high capacity high schools and universities, like, these are very awesome for your downtown area. And the reason why I bring up the downtown area is because in my recent Cities Skylines city, I actually came across this problem. So as I zoom out, I'm going to zoom closer, and you're going to see that I had a lot of smaller, the normal elementary school, the normal high schools, the normal, firehouse. Like, we needed something bigger. And to fit this downtown area, there's thousands of people that live in that area, in that part of my city. And these large service buildings will be perfect to add them, so I don't have to spam all the normal education buildings. So this is one of my favorite parts of the new DLC. This gets a giant thumbs up. So now that you know about the high capacity elementary schools, let's get into the other high capacity buildings. So right now we have a high capacity hospital. Like, again, 800 patients and over 40 ambulances. Like, that is honestly amazing. Like, I don't even know how to explain that any better. And now let's just go to the normal clinic. Let's just see. Okay, 100 patients and only 8 ambulances. So again, these high capacity buildings are absolutely perfect for your downtown area. So again, we have the fire station and the police department. All of them have enough cars. So they each have about 40 cars, and they have, well, this one has about 80 jail cells. So again, perfect for high density areas, and I love it. Again, this gets a giant 2 thumbs up. The last part of the new DLC I really want to dig into is the monuments. So there's 6 monuments in front of us, and I'm not sure if I love all of these monuments all together as a collective whole. Now, if we look at them individually, that is a little different. This pedestrian street marketplace, if you go to New York City, Boston, like any big city, they do have a, not residential, but they have commercial and shopping centers that actually have roofs over them. So that is a very realistic thing. I really, really, really do like that asset, or that, I should say, that monument. Now, this one is a little different. It is a modern art museum. I think for myself, it is I know artsy, I know, but it's a little too much for my liking. It just, I don't know. They went a little crazy with some of these. Now, this is my favorite monument that I think is fantastically done. So if you look, it is the Sunken Mall, which there's tons of detailing. When people are actually in it, so right now I just plopped it down just to show you guys the asset, but when there are people around it, so if you've ever looked at the underground metro area in Cities Skylines, there are people at all the levels. Well, this has the same idea around it, except it is a shopping mall center. So when you do get to, when people are in it, there's going to be people all around those buildings or that sunken mall. So lastly, these are the high capacity residential buildings, office buildings, and commercial buildings. I think these buildings as a whole look cool, but them as monuments, I'm really not a fan of. Like, I really do like the detailing and the details of all the buildings. I don't know. I just don't love them as a whole, but that's just me. So now let's get into the last piece. Do I think this DLC is worth $14.99? Well, let me get to my review. So my honest review of this DLC is going to be indifferent. So I am honestly going to, it's hard. I'm just going off the hip on how I feel about this DLC. Now, the Cities Skylines Airport DLC, you got to build some really, really cool airports. Now, with this new Plaza and Promenades DLC, with the pedestrian roads and stuff like that, you're not getting the same thing out of it. So if you're just an average Cities Skylines player that plays the game once in a while, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think this DLC is worth it for yourself. Now, if you love Cities Skylines, you play this game all the time, you love using different buildings, you love using a pedestrian road, or you like people walking around your city, I think this DLC is perfect. I think with all the plazas and everything that came with it, I thought it was fantastic. So overall, I think this DLC is worth the $14.99. I honestly do. I think this is a really cool DLC. Please guys, let me know what you think. Please leave a comment below. Thank you very much. Have a great day.